Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ESL TV studios here in Cologne for, of course, the Wargaming.net League EU Season 4 Finals. If you haven't had the chance to meet me yet or don't know who I am, my name is Mitch Leslie and I'm your host for this weekend. And we are well and truly into proceedings here on day one of our finals, starting, in fact, to get towards the pointy end of things. But let's have a look at the bracket and see how things have developed thus far. And you can see there, we do have teams moving through the brackets here. Kazna crew obviously over C-Play in that first game. They moved through to the upper bracket, and SchoolBus over TCM. That was the story of the first part of the day. We already saw our lower bracket match in which, unfortunately, TCM were eliminated by C-Play in that last map where it was only a 3-game series, but C-Play really took it to them there, so they will move through. And now C-Play have to decide who they're going to be up against here, or at least they're going to have to wait and see. So it is going to be our upper bracket match. SchoolBus and Kazna crew definitely going to be a blockbuster by our standards at the very least. But to get a little bit more of an insight into this match, the players and what's going to be involved, we pass back over, of course, to our experts at the analysis desk. Dorjan, let's take us in.
Thank you, Mitch. Now, one thing we got to say first before we go into the next match of the winners bracket, we have said goodbye to one team. And before we go, let's say goodbye to TCM.
Yeah. Hello, my name is David Kautsky. You can know me as Torus, and this is Story of My Life. I'm a simple guy who works on farm. I'm fond on archery, horse riding, and walking in the nature. I like to learn new cultures, new languages, and get new friends all over the world. When I was 10, I started playing computer games. At that time, RPGs and strategies were popular, and the cool action games didn't attract my attention. When I entered university, a friend of mine told me, "Hey, I have access to the closed beta of World of Tanks. Should I get you in?" And I said, "Wow, tank action, that should be amazing. Let's do it." So I started playing this game. During the beta, then I learned that every type of the tank has really nice background and you can really play anything you want. Currently, our team got new sponsor and we are renamed as TCM Gaming. And that's what you can see us in the offline finals of this season, number 4. Important person for me is my brother. He didn't used to play this game, but he was my fan. And now he started to play the game. And I have great feeling from it. I'm really proud that you can teach others and they then become really great. Many people ask me how I achieve results like this. It's a lot of hard work. I have been playing World of Tanks for 4 years, and now it's not just a game for me, it's part of my life. So I wish to all new players to believe in themselves, never give up no matter what, and remember, everyone can be winner in World of Tanks where everything depends on you. Let's battle.
Well, that was a sad thing to see, them going out so early in the tournament. TCM, such a strong team, such a rich history, but unfortunately it didn't work out for them. So let's look forward, though, into the winners bracket, where we do have Kazna facing SchoolBus. SchoolBus, a team that were a bit rocky, but Kazna, let's talk about those. So, Carmen, what can you tell us about Kazna's performance so far?
Kazna performance so far are really good. They really looked good against C-Play, and C-Play took down the TCM. TCM almost took the SchoolBus. So, looking, on just the scores of this match and how previous matches look, Kazna should win. Kazna should win. They are really hard, and also we must remember that tomorrow, winner of this match faces Evil Panda squad. Definitely the weaker team comparing to Virtus Pro. Everybody will agree. So it is very important for them.
Okay, so Wilkie.
Yeah, Kazna if you look at the last match they played, it is actually really interesting. Like Carmen said, that they changed their play style to be naive, and they really didn't do anything in the game against TCM. They let the C play and let the C play do all the work. They were just sitting, waiting, and let them C play to kill themselves, and that's what happened. So it's really interesting to see. Will Kazna do the same? Not Kazna, SchoolBus. SchoolBus do the same mistake. So let's see what happens.
It's interesting. SchoolBus, obviously a very veteran team and a very concise veteran team. Like they have had similar players, only 1 or 2 changes over the years. Obviously, Synergy was their previous name. Then they went to Dignitas, and they went all over the place. But they really, the core of the team is the same. So they have a lot of veterancy in them. The thing that Arclit was saying after the battle, that they didn't know where some players were or what they were doing. The communication issues of he trusts his teammates to do the right thing, and sometimes obviously they don't do what he thinks is the right thing, and the cohesion of the team breaks down. Carmen, you said you were concerned with this.
Yeah, for sure. It's similar to what happened in Lemming Train from time to time. That you are thinking that this will work, but it didn't work. So unfortunately, you have to switch the strategy. Try to you are catching up the score. You are stressed. They were really lucky at Mainz with this decision. It was the only decision they should make. They made it, and also TCM made a mistake, and it costed them map and the tournament after all. But we must remember that Arclit is a really big person for them, and just as a giant with the golden heart, he is looking after them, and I hope there will be some interesting battles between these two teams, because already you said that C-Play give the win to Kazna.
Okay, so let's focus on Kazna. We say we have Arclit for SchoolBus, another big name for them. What about Kazna? What about the other players for Kazna? Any other big names in that team?
In Kazna, Haiba is also a big name in Kazna. Has been there in the team for a really long time, so he's a core player in the team, and I think he is doing an awesome job in that team. So.
And here he is, as you see that although he has not the highest kill count, he's also the map picker. I believe this is the gentleman who's picking the maps before and after.
Yeah, this always I was saying always that Runze was commanding the stuff. Haiba saying it's him. I always everybody says it's commanding, but to be honest, Haiba is also never mind who is commanding. To be honest, they know it, and they know who have to be a gratitude.
Well,
but he's a core player.
This is what we've been talking about. Some teams have different setups where they have a field commander or they have groups. I know some teams have groups, like the heavy tanks has a leader and the light tanks has a leader, and then there's an overall commander for everything. So the overall commander's in the T1s, obviously the heavy tanks in the IS3s, so on and so forth. There's teams that split the leadership up. So the map picking may not be the same guy who's calling the shots in the game. It can actually be separate. So that's another point.
For time to time, it's like this, to better have the person who is not leading to pick the maps. Because the leader, he will be too stressful, thinking too much. The guy, you only take to talk about the maps, and he picks the best because he has a clean mind. He's only focused on that. And this is also the one, this is a lot of tactical stuff, mind-blowing games, Before you start to play, you also have to make a biggest decisions for you. So we'll find out really soon.
Okay, well, let's move on from Kazna. We've got some big names, and for anyone who doesn't know, that Runze is the other name for German braid.
Yeah,
German braid. Or Bratter. I'm not entirely sure how you meant to pronounce it, but he is that guy. That guy's him. So if we keep saying Runze, it's because that's his nickname.
Yeah, old nickname. Yeah, I'm used to that. I'm just too old in the stuff.
I just wanted to link everyone up together. But let's move on to SchoolBus. So SchoolBus is this team that we said, a very veteran team that have been having some issues. You said they struggled against TCM. TCM are now out. So statistically speaking, if you want to go on their performance so far for this tournament, we are looking at Kazna being a much stronger team with Elian as the Razor-powered guy. He's the MVP that Oliver had picked out. This guy's going to perform well. Obviously, we have other guys from Kazna we need to look at, but they seem, as Carmen just said, really, really strong about that. Snitsel, what do you think about SchoolBus as a whole compared, like their cohesion, compared to Kazna's?
I think like in the last season, SchoolBus would be much better than Kazna, but on this season, they're like a bit worse because they still have to find the perfect team play, which they don't have without Stalker. So it's pretty even. It's like actually pretty even. Yeah.
Yeah, their cohesion is not together yet. Or I say this, I think it's a deliberate style choice. They want to be individual players. From talking to Arklit, talking to the individual players, that's the case. So let's talk about Arklit. He's obviously taken over the reins. He is now the commander of, and there he is, the big guy on the right, the gentle giant, Arklit. He is the new commander. He's doing everything for them now. He's not the central player, but he's definitely the strategic
manager. He's doing all the stuff about the managing. He's also, you know, looking after them. He's talking on the Skype. He's also to have a normal, really hard job.
Oh, we better tell the audience they better go vote on Facebook if they want to be part of that.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
you guys need to start doing your voting now as well.
I almost forget that we need to, you know, do this. But like always, we are waiting for the map picks to know, you know,
you guys
experts.
you guys need this.
You done this.
Insk is the first map gone. Interesting.
And I must say, for me, it is the worst tournament because I didn't see at least one Ensk.
Well,
and it's horrible for me.
For me, very interesting. Second ban is Ruinberg.
Yeah, because they, you know, they didn't play well. SchoolBus can camp, Kazna can camp. Maybe they don't want, you know, to be stressed at this map.
Well, that would be a thing. And Mines is the real big shocker. Mines is the soft ban in the 5th position. We've so far not seen a 5th map being played. That's why we call it the soft ban. And Cliff coming out on 4th. These are some crazy map picking. Please explain this mentality.
I think, you know, they are waiting. Maybe they have some strategy for the steps. For Kazna, it works against C-Play. And, you know, we for sure will see Himmelsdorf at least once. So Himmelsdorf is the map that everybody knows. Prokhorovka, it can be, you know, Prokhorovka is the weakest map of SchoolBus in my opinion. And that can be really bad for them. Maybe they work over it and they can surprise, but they lost Prokhorovka to Kuraki almost.
And you're right. Himmelsdorf is going to be the first map, followed by Prokhorovka, Steps, Cliff, and followed by Mines if they need that far. But do you think we're going to see Sand River with these teams, or do you think these guys are going to be decisive enough on these maps to pull it off?
With this map picking, I think we will see Sand River. Really, I think yes.
I have to agree with Common. I'm going to say this is the first time we're going to see the Sand River.
You guys have voted for Sand River a lot, though. In the first two, in both the first two sets that didn't get to Sand River, you got completely wrong.
But we are still in the lead in our scoring.
You are, actually. You did get the last game completely 100% spot on. But, Sister, what do you think is going to be happening?
I don't think there will be a Sand River because it's unlikely they will be at a draw after the 3rd round. Like
okay.
3-3.
I agree also. I still don't think we're going to see Sand River.
Know,
both these teams are aggressive enough that we're not going to see
I think Himmelsdorf, if it isn't the draw, it will be a win by SchoolBus. And then Prokhorovka will be win by Kazna. And then we have 2 draws, and we are going to
in-depth predictions here, Carl.
Yeah,
I hope you keep track of them because I didn't hear all of those.
Yeah, you know, you can just, you know, I'm an expert. I can talk whatever I want. I don't need to play. That's the biggest, you know, thing I can do. And they, you know, if I'm wrong, I just say, you know, they played bad. It was a fire, Amorak. So, you know, that ruined my predictions. But if I'm right, yeah, you will see me smiling all the day.
All right.
Last preparation for the guys, I see.
So Himmelsdorf, you say, is going to go SchoolBus's way.
Yeah, I think so.
And second map?
It's Prokhorovka, and I think it will be go for Kazna.
And you think that's Kazna. And then what's on the 3rd map?
On 3rd map, draw.
Draw.
Yeah, and next map, draw.
Oh, so they're going to draw. So it's going to 1 each on the first 2 maps, and then it's going to go for draws into
I think
Sand
so.
River.
I don't know why, but you know.
Your gut feeling. Wilkie, you got a similar feeling?
Well, I sent it to go to Sand River. Maybe not in that order, but it's going to go to Sand River anyway.
Interesting. Okay, well, I want to see how they adapt. Elian is actually the person that needs to draw the most information from here. I feel like he's the most experienced at understanding what SchoolBus will do. He's really been in the scene for a long time, fighting them tooth and nail. Especially with the fights with Lemming Train in the grand finals. He was there on the ground force defeating SchoolBus. Obviously, they were called Dignitas. They were under a different leadership, but it was essentially the same
It was
players.
called Synergy, my friend.
Synergy.
They were Synergy there.
They lost their... They changed their sponsorship just before the
grand
finals.
Finals.
I apologize.
No problem, my friend.
But he was there on the ground force fighting them. And it was 2 different sets you had to fight them. And both times it was Lemon Train 1?
Yeah, my friend.
Yes.
Otherwise, we wouldn't be in, you know, in the next day of the tournament. But but this action with shotting with the high roll at AMX 5100, it's all in all the highlight, and this is why everybody knows Ilan from this tournament. So I just hope that we will see similar actions here, and we'll have, you know, the day hero of any of these tournaments. You know, just waiting for some of the guys to pull something really, really nice. As a commander today, for me, the star is Raster because of these Pershings, because of this idea. I don't know if it's completely him, but probably
I totally agree.
yes.
C-Play, I came into this really not knowing what to expect. No one knew what to expect from them, and they have blown everyone's expectations, knocking out TCM. Not so expected from everyone else, but you two definitely wanted them through. You kept voting for them. Even when they were losing, you're like, I think C-Play's going to do it. So you two definitely had your faith there. You knew that they had what it took, and they definitely did the day. But we can see now if Kazna can keep up what TCM almost finished the early hours of this morning, where they almost beat SchoolBus. So statistically speaking, we do see Kazna here with an edge, but they seem to be at the end of their briefing here, and they're ready to go. Kazna crew, I think we have a lot of Kazna fans in the audience. Who's a Kazna fan on the Twitch chat? I'm sure you guys like Kazna. A lot of people out there, real big Kazna fans. I'm sure you guys will let us know if you are the Kazna's fans or not. In fact, I believe there is a social media picture of them with a fan who's come all the way to the studio to watch them play.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
He'll be very disappointed if they get knocked out here.
Yeah, but no, even if this, we must remember, even if this one of this team loses, they are still in the loser bracket and can win. But like we said, everybody wants to face EPS. Now only SchoolBus and Kazna can do this. In case of semifinal, because maybe there, you know, it can be match for the third place. We don't know what happened tomorrow.
Well, now we've seen all those Kazna fans in the audience. What about SchoolBus? What about SchoolBus? How many people out there are voting for the art project tops, the rising star SchoolBus, as we can see on the screen? How many of those have we out there? Is Arclit going to lead their way to victory with Apple Wow supporting them? Remember, he is powered by Razer. He is up for the MVP award. Go vote for that if you haven't already. We've already lost one of the guys from the tournament.
He still can win.
So he can still win it, though. He can still win. He doesn't have to be part of the winning team. So your favorite personality, go to Facebook and vote for that. Make sure you're voting at the same time for who you think is going to win, for your chance to win prizes. Remember, it's not a, you don't definitely get a prize if you get it right. You just get a chance to win. So make sure you go there and vote. So you've been quiet over there, Snitzel. What do you think's about to happen?
Yeah, I think the Ukraine team, SchoolBus, will get defeated, like hard.
Really? Hard? That's a strong word to use. You think they get defeated hard?
The thing is, Kazna didn't show any tactics against C-Play, but like SchoolBus had to go all in against TCM to actually win it.
But I still want to stress this. I'm still a secret fan of SchoolBus on the basis that I think Arclit's a really fantastic guy, and I have a lot of faith in him, that maybe their individuality could cause some upsets. And I don't think they went all in the basis that I don't think they really had any tactics to begin with. I honestly think they just drive up and rely on their skill. I think the tactics is kind of weak with them. It's more like, let's just get into position, see what happens. And then when the chaos starts happening, just do your thing and we'll win. It kind of feels like that's what their strategy is.
Yeah, and it still works for them because they're really high-skilled guys. They're really, really high-skilled guys. And also, we must mention that for Kazna, Schnitzel is the fun because it's a pro tip. He's in the Kazna, so you cannot listen to them that carefully.
We will see. I play Clan Wars with them, so.
We will find out soon enough how, you know, your predictions are on.
Yeah, well, we will see. I think everyone here, I'm going to quickly sneak a look at the cards, what I'm not going to say, but I think there's a clear fan favorite at the analyst desk here, and I think I'm correct. I'm not going to reveal it now, but anyone who's been paying attention definitely knows what this result will be. However, we will see what the vote is during the match, who you guys think winning. And I think it's going to be a close vote for the audience. I think it's going to be a close, because SchoolBus has been around for a while, although they've changed name. I feel that they are going to be decisively fan-orientated. They have a lot of fans supporting them from Ukraine. They have a lot of people who like them, like Lemitry, and a lot of supporters from Poland. There's lots of national pride on the line here, where they're from two different regions. People like them for different reasons, you know, for their home thing. TCM had a lot of fans because they are German-based, and we're in Germany right now. And that's how I feel the vote may be 50-50. Maybe closer to 50-50 than we feel here at the analytic desk.
Kazna have German, so they will be leading the votes.
Okay, well, it looks like the game is on the way, so I think it's time for the two most talkative people in the show.
After you. After you.
Pansy and Laughter. Take it away, guys.
Yeah, after you, Dolshan. We are second and third. I'll take second.
Carmen's always got to get that little cheeky insult in.
Look, we haven't given him a sandwich yet. If you watched the last season finals, you may have noticed he was just, numbing down on the sandwich.
We haven't given Mitch his lemon either.
Ah, see, that's why it's all going wrong. That's why Carmen's getting a little angsty on the desk. But no, we do have a fantastic game coming up. And I remember this one during the online season. As soon as I saw those two names going up against each other, it was going to be a brilliant game. And SchoolBus up against Kazna. Get those predictions through to us, because do you know what? Everyone backing Kazna in this, I can't deny SchoolBus. They have a good map selection here. I think Prokhorovka and Himmelsdorf both work in their favor. Steps, not so sure. But I still think the SchoolBus can do this. What are your thoughts on this?
I think SchoolBus are really underestimated by everyone.
Yeah,
They've been fantastic. Throughout the whole season, and they keep on getting better. We have to remember this one, where Kazna crew, they've been dropping at the end of the season. I felt they peaked
almost midway.
They peaked. They were second behind Virtus.pro by not that many points, and then they just dropped the hell down. While SchoolBus has been getting better and better, and I think that's going to be the storyline for this whole tournament as well with SchoolBus. They're going to get stronger and stronger, as, for instance, near you, Dark God Sim, Dead Hunter, not Armley, he's pretty experienced, but those three at least haven't played that many offline tournaments before. So when they get a little bit of confidence, they're just going to go up a notch every time.
And look at the last time these two played against each other. It was Shanish and Live for Surf who actually turned up really heavily. So if Shanish finds his footing in this, he can become a real beast overall. But we'll find out what he can bring into this one. And SchoolBus will be starting in the north in red, and in the south in blue will be Kazna. So as promised, Himmelsdorf is going to be the first map. I always felt this is one of the stronger maps for SchoolBus. Not sure why it says 3-0. That is not the scoreline. It is 0-0. It's the first map in this one. But I still find it very hard to doubt these guys. I look back to when they played against Virtus.pro, and it was a constant back and forth, and no one could doubt the Virtus.pro prowess on this map. But I'm wanting to see that from SchoolBus. Last round, we saw Kazna bringing out the hill strategy. They shied away from it eventually, went to a more well-rounded strat. What are we seeing from them so far?
Kazna's staying quite far back. They're a little bit wary of what happened last time. Just trying to stay cool, calm and collected, and maybe just go for a win later on in the map. But this is actually the best map for these two teams. Kazna about 85% win ratio, SchoolBus 75%, so only 10% separating them. A lot of games played each. Personally, I do like Kazna crew on this map. I think SchoolBus more of a Prokhorovka kind of team. True. At least through the end of the season. But we'll have to wait and see, of course. I have to say, it could be a Sand River if we don't see any action on Himmelsdorf. I don't think it will be. It all depends on Himmelsdorf, though. Like, if one of these two teams actually want to go for a win, that's fair enough, and they are going to be able to do it. But Prokhorovka, the online stage, how many wins did we realistically see on that map?
True, very true. But then again, SchoolBus are very strong on it. They still know how to win this game. Kazna took a leaf out of Virtus.pro's book. We see that slow creeping strat occasionally from them. I think there's a chance here for this. I think Sand River, as you said, is very dependent on this map, and the last time these two actually met up, they drew this map out, so maybe not the best indication, but still, it's an offline final. It's a very different element. I think we can look at it that way, but still, first kill comes in. That's gonna be Applewell taking down Blue. So tier 1 is found, and look at that. Applewell, though, takes a beating, 773 HP. He's gonna have to scutter away and reconsider his options here, because Veko and Elian just absolutely slaughtered him.
Like the use of word there, scutter. It's not a real word in the English dictionary, but we've made it one. Elian and Veko pushing forward.
I'm sticking with that.
I'm sticking with that. It's pretty fair enough, and we can always add it. YOLO was added to the dictionary.
Scuttered. Move hurriedly with short steps.
Okay.
Oh,
I got done.
Ollie?
Unbelievable. She's actually beating me. She's beating me in grammar. How is that a word? Is that from London or something? Because it sounds pretty dirty.
All right, West Country.
Sorry to all of our London fans, but
wow.
You know what I mean.
Wow, the banter is real.
I have to say though, I got it wrong. Prokhorovka is 75% for SchoolBus. Himmelsdorf is 85% for Kazna crew. So if we do move on to Prokhorovka, it could be their win. It's actually quite interesting because the highest statistic map for Kazna crew is this one. So if they don't win it, then they go on to the highest statistic map for SchoolBus, which will be a risky strategy for them.
For sure.
So honestly, I just think it's going to be down to Kazna making the first move, which just hasn't happened as Arclet's gone quite aggressive in the side street.
And you've got to think back. I completely forgot it was SchoolBus that Ilian pulled off that incredible 1v3 move on that basically secured them further in the tournament. So there's certainly going to be a point for SchoolBus wanting to correct what happened then and say, you got lucky. Because there was elements of RNG in there. There always is to an extent. But he played it perfectly. Still, they certainly want to prove that one wrong. And what have we seen so far? We're 5 minutes into this now. What movement have we seen? We've seen a lot of rotation, a lot of small changes. Where have they ended up?
Well, we've seen, first of all, a nice play by Kazna crew basically using the bait of Plauder. They put him in a place where Apoel could actually take him down. Apoel went forwards, he took him down, he received about 700 HP for his trouble, which is a good move from Kazna. Yes, you lose a tier 1, which is important on this map, but again, if Kazna has the right strategy, and that was part of their strategy, then the tier 1 obviously can't be that important. So it's kind of a logical thinking for their team. Dead Hunter now moving forwards for SchoolBus. Arclid already scouted this one, so he went first, unusually, scouting for the tier 1, who's now going to be trying to get himself into a little better position. Probably got spotted then, his sixth sense going up, and has to try and get out. Ilian missing him by the hairs on his cheek, but he's kind of stuck there, he can't move forwards, so at least maybe a 1-for-1 exchange in terms of tier 1s.
Yeah, Dead Hunter there, position truly known, but still it looks tentative with these guys, and it is going to be defining towards the rest of the maps here. So let's find out what they can do. Kazna are looking for ways in, but they're still being quite passive about it. They haven't really crossed the E line. They haven't really pushed much in any direction. They had their little exchange on the hill where Ilian and Veko, who you're watching pretty much right now, did manage to take Apoel very low, and he's probably one of the early players you want to make sure you focus. Then again, Shanish also, it's so hard to ever pinpoint one player you want to take out of the game in this situation against SchoolBus. All of them have that ability, but whether or not we see that being a defining factor here, we'll have to wait and see, because it looks like SchoolBus are happy to play quite passively towards the northwest. We've seen them using this strategy before. They do like it. They can push off from it if they feel like it. But Kazna, they've undone it before. We've seen this happen prior to now. They've certainly worked out how it can be done, but whether or not they really want to now. 3 minutes and 42 seconds on the board. Where are their options going to be?
Well, this is when Kazna's most dangerous, when they're reacting to situations. You know, they saw Dead Hunter in that tier 1 go up the 1 line. They were like, okay, so usually when a tier 1 goes first, it's to spot for the tanks behind him, the combat tanks. So they kind of think, okay, SchoolBus must be up into that 1 to 4 line, 1 to 5 line. So let's go up the right side, because that's not where they are. Dead Hunter now getting focused down by, I believe, one of the AMX 5100s in the middle. And now Kazna crew in a very similar situation to where Virtus Pro like to play this map. They have basically extended their battle lines forwards. They're sitting hull down. They've got 3 AMX 5100s to play around with. And then going to putting Hyber and Crooks into the best positions they can to absorb the damage. Whereas SchoolBus are pretty much now set in stone what they want to do. They want to sit back in towards the cap. And honestly, Kazna could make the dangerous mistake of pushing too late, because I think they are going to push.
Yeah, but Arclic could be caught out here. He can be fairly easily cut off from the side if they can find the right angle on him if he tries to cross back over. Crux is there, Ilian joining him as well. So they're certainly looking like they want to make a move. And I don't think SchoolBus really have the information just yet, but they'll certainly find out as soon as it happens. It'll be an instant reaction. They have the tanks waiting. It'll be a phenomenal engagement if this goes down. The 2-minute marker is approaching, generally where we see these engagements beginning. And at the moment, we're slowly seeing Kazna getting steps and steps closer towards the SchoolBus side. Arclet still a little further forward by that 3 line, just pushed down a little way further. Armley back as well. Are we going to see a push from this?
Yeah, actually, really likely, and a very good push positioning from Kazna crew, because Apoel, if he tries to peek, he'll get caught. Arclet in the arse, 397 damage. Nice little bit of exchange there for Kazna crew, bringing the HP even more into their favor. And because Armley's quite far out of position, he's in A5, he's going to be able to not be able to get back, and that allows Crooks to do what he does best.
Crux has moved in and completely unexchanged damage came through then towards Arclit. They punished him for being out of position. Veko takes a lot though, so a little bit of a reply, but I thought Alkit was out on his own a little way, but at the moment, Kazna are fumbling that full execution. Shanish punishes Crux now, and now Alkit just about ready for that reload. Might be able to come back in. Hyber not too far away, 1 minute and 21. If the engagement was going to come down, it has to be soon. But then look at Cobra Leone. He's hedging their bets. He is still over by that northeast side, waiting either for maybe a cap push or to run away. Either options are available, and I think SchoolBus are just going to try and hunker down here. Maybe not feeling so confident in this engagement.
Yeah, Crux didn't go far enough forwards, and he should have had more support from the MX-5100s. If they wanted to take down Arclit, there's no point sacrificing a tank just to do the extra 400 damage. Just go for it, take him down. If you lose a tank for it, so be it, but it's still a 1-for-1 exchange. Now it's 1-0. And SchoolBus haven't got quite enough HP to take the win, and some good positioning by Kazna in the middle also maybe negates that a little bit. And near you could be in a little bit of trouble, but more damage towards Kazna.
It's a weird split right now. As you said, the advantage of having that tank up means they have an equal or overmatch on all of these small engagements. And look, this Vecco does not expect the engagement. Near comes around, takes him down. That's Vecco gone, that's German Break gone, and Crux. If there was a little bit more time, they could do something with this, but that tier 1 is out of the way. Cobra Leone has made this safe. There's no time for the cap, but Elian and Hyber can still be pretty much ruined here. Hyber did find Arclit, but the confidence now that Kazna crew may have had at the start will certainly be questioned at this point, as Hyber taken down to a one-shot, 1-2-8 there, as now Applewell just plays it a little safe and leaves the rest to do the damage. Elian also getting a tag up, but it is going to be a draw on the first map. And, well, Kazna looking okay, still looking okay there. They look confident enough, but you've got to be worried then. That was them making the engagement and making a couple of mistakes.
The first mistake was that Crux didn't actually engage entirely, or he was the only one to engage entirely. He should have had a support from the 5100, maybe a little bit of a split, because you didn't really have to worry about Applewell because he could only do so much with the HP he had. If he had full HP, you'd worry about Applewell, but he's on a 2-shot for an IS-3. So what you do is you have one AMX-5100 come from all the way behind, and then you engage Arclit from both sides. So he can only have his tank and his turret into one position, so he makes himself vulnerable. Or you just push all your tanks up one side and just take down Arclit as quickly as possible. A couple of communication issues with Kazna, for instance, Vecco going down was unnecessary. But SchoolBus, they were going to try and play aggressively. You could already see with
Arclit, wasn't it, moving forward as well?
The Arclit Dead Hunter whole exchange, exactly. But the problem was Dead Hunter got spotted, and as soon as he got spotted, SchoolBus were like, Kazna are going to push up the 1-3 line. Let's get into defensive positions. Let's counter it.
So a nicely well played out game there, all in all. Bit of a pull and a push between each other, trying to make sure things are even and everything kind of accounted for. So no aggressive move, not ever counted. So it was always that, okay, well, we've seen this player here. That means X, Y, and Z. Let's get ready to receive that. And they did it well. So Kazna keeping up, keeping on point. Same can be said for SchoolBus. Now, next map, Prokhorovka. Okay, let's look at it this way. We argued that if the first map was a draw, we'll probably go Sam River. But both teams made the attempt for a victory on the first map. It wasn't like, all right, let's just polarize. Let's just negate this. They went for it at least. Would you still say that it's going to be a Sam River? Because Prokhorovka can be a very good map for SchoolBus at times, and not a bad one for Kazna either.
No, they're pretty good at this map. Kazna have had to work a lot on this map. You know, you remember at the beginning of Kazna crew, in the beginning days in the offline finals, are truly awful at Prokhorovka. Some really strange tactics they use with the MX-1390s. But they've improved, they got better, as with Himmelsdorf, and it's becoming one of their better maps. But it's one of those maps in the current meta that's very hard to win. Doesn't matter what kind of team you are. And SchoolBus, despite the fact that they might have like a 75% win ratio on it, they kind of don't really have the advantage of playing against a weaker team. Most of their wins on that map was down to a weaker team, just not being able to defend or not being able to attack properly. So there's a lot of questions up in the air for SchoolBus, and I think Kazna crew will be able to exploit that, at least for a draw. Now, if we go to Sand River, Steps will obviously have to be a draw as well, which I think is maybe a little bit more likely than Prokhorovka. Because I think, honestly, Prokhorovka is one of those maps where you can bring something special, like we saw Lucky Cracky do against SchoolBus, indeed.
Virtus Pro have always proven it's possible.
Exactly, Virtus Pro love pushing into that village when a team camps there, and they break it every single time. So there are options on this card.
And looking at steps, as you said, I look back to what we've really seen coming out from the guys on your screen there, SchoolBus, back in the days of Dignitas or Synergy, wherever you want to throw your mind back to. And, you know, even this tactics that they came out with, the well-rounded tactics, always, you know, very southern, very defensive, up in the hills, you remember with the 4-1-6 in play. A lot of variation, but regardless, always very defensive. Now, Prokhorovka, I want to see what tanks they start with. I think it'll be quite defining of the playstyle, possibly. But we'll have to wait and see what they come out with as the teams getting themselves ready. First map was a draw, which was Himmelsdorf. Both teams toyed with the engagement, but neither fully committed. Prokhorovka, though, can be a very deciding map in that sort of aspect. So a lot of big players in these lineups have to step up. Elian, a phenomenal player again on this one. Hyber certainly comes into his own as well. So I think in the north, in red, it will be SchoolBus. In the south, in blue, is Kazna. What sort of tank picks have we seen?
Well, we're seeing T32, 416, and AAA 1390 from the side of SchoolBus. And surprisingly, quite a similar lineup from Kazna crew. T32, 416, Pershing, AA 1390. Only difference is, well, from the south, you want to have a little bit more hull-down ability, so you pick that Pershing up. Quite a lot of teams like pick the extra T32 or maybe the extra MX 1390, but I think Kazna with that Pershing is a nice little exchange between and could work out for them. Little initial engagements going across. Hyder does a good amount of spotting, so now Kazna knows that SchoolBus over towards the right side or left side on the minimap, but that's hardly surprising, and obviously SchoolBus knows that Kazna is probably down with 1 to 3 now.
So now, I ask you the question, SchoolBus starting in the north, we often see the teams in the north go towards that village on occasion or work their way in there. It seems more of the usable strategy. Same can be said for the southern team on occasion, they also like it as well, but this is going back to more of an old school play style in a way, where we see both teams in the same sort of direction on the same side of the map, and they haven't just rotated. It looks like SchoolBus have that jump-off point of being still quite far back, still have the option available to do so, but it looks like they're wanting an engagement on this. They look like they're going to go for some sort of move, and can the same be said for Kazna as well?
I'm not sure. We don't often see a lot of moves, a lot of engagement moves from the south, actually. It's quite a tricky position to play from. Yeah, okay, from the south into the village, fair enough. I mean, you can win that. But the kind of positioning Kazna crew has now is what TCM first pioneered. They put the 2 hull-down tanks first, basically to spot and do as much damage as they can. Yeah. And then they got really the firepower and the speedy tanks behind, basically in support. Now, this has worked, I would think, about 33% of the time. Because basically, if you want to break it, you just have to put all your tanks against these 2 hull-down tanks. You take them out, and because the MX 1390 don't have the greatest aim down time, don't have the greatest accuracy, they'll actually miss a decent amount of shots against the tanks that are engaging onto these 2 hull-down. As long as you're playing dynamic, you're not stopping, you can actually not receive that much damage. That's the problem. Kaza's tried to kind of counter that by picking the 416, which has obviously got the M63. Good amount of damage there, of course, 320 average, but still, it could struggle if SchoolBus do decide to push, and if they push correctly.
Yeah, I do really like seeing the 416 in play. It's been a tank I've been waiting to see make its feature again, and I spoke of the 416 in relation to the possible next map coming up, or the next map coming up, which will be Steps, but nice to see it featured here. It's a bit of a rarity, as we said. Generally, it comes down to the village these days or around the more 6-line marker, but it's good seeing a little bit of variation, but dangerous to vary. Obviously, at offline finals, it can always be a bit of a tricky time to add something new or something uncommon to the tactics, but there's not really too many shells have landed. So far, Cobra Leone took, obviously, a shell to the face there, or well, to the tank, and Joe and Bray took one as well. So 2 shells really connecting is basically we can take away from this SchoolBus, landing a good couple. But, you know, it doesn't look like either side want to fully engage here. I think it'd need a lot more for this to be the case. But let's have a look at the tier 1s if we can over on the SchoolBus side, because it looks like they may be working their way up the 7 line. Dead Hunter is still there. It must be Dark God Sim, surely, yeah. So they may be keeping options available, working their way into the village, or is this just him scouting out, making sure there's no surprises?
A bit of both. Obviously, you don't want any surprises. No one likes surprises. I don't even like surprise birthday parties. So, you know, you can't take this kind of...
Has anyone ever thrown you a surprise birthday
They have
party?
actually
I've never had the surprise birthday party.
Oh, it was, I walked through the door and I just had this fright of my life. And I was like, I just want to sit down, have a cup of tea and play, I don't know, computer games. I don't want anyone singing happy birthday to me.
You know what I mean? Family's there.
I didn't even like when people came around to my house and like talk to my parents. I was saying I didn't like that kind of stuff. Any social activities.
Yeah, socializing is awful, right?
No, it's pretty bad. People in general, they're so insuperior.
This is why we get left back here in the tiny room. Like, everyone in the studio is having a great time, and we're just left at the back like, no, you guys don't get to be social.
Yeah, to keep them away from people. They even lock the door. But yeah, back to the game. You know, SchoolBus, they want to basically scout the village, get more map control. Once they've used the scouts effectively, the tier 1 first, near you, also on the hill, then they can kind of, you know, reaching out into further parts of the map. Different tactics can come into the equation. You got a little bit more flexibility. You don't have to worry so much about a lot of things. It's all good for them. But it's also typical. You know, Kazna crew are definitely expecting this. They know this is going to happen because they do the same thing from the north when a team's playing this tactic. So they'll have some sort of contingency plan.
You'd hope so.
But then, yeah, you definitely hope so. But I think at this level they would. And maybe SchoolBus has something unusual which we've never seen that could actually be so out of this world that, you know, Kazna has no answer at.
Wait and see what they can bring to play there. And you have seen now Dark God Zim literally going up and around the map in the entirety. And I don't think Kazna have actually been able to spot any of this out at the moment. They've still noted the fact that the likes of Shanish, maybe Dead Hunter, and a couple of others are still there to create the engagement. But whether or not they're expecting this surprise attack is a different matter. But we'll have to wait and see if the full execution comes from SchoolBus. Let's bear in mind they are split up here. They're not necessarily vulnerable, but there's certainly the option of a retaliation and the overmatch of tanks. So they need to be a little careful when they execute, because we've seen Kazna can find these small flaws, like we saw Ruster being punished by Elian and Veko when it was time to do so. So you can't give them that open door, because they'll happily walk through and say, okay, well, we see you've got a weakness, let's exploit that, like we saw last time on Steps. Still, you just being a little cautious there. The fire did come back in finally in retaliation, I believe, from Elian. Just making sure he finds a little bit of cover. But what sort of push time do you think we can see coming out from SchoolBus if they commit?
Well, there's obviously not been any incredible tactics so far, so I think the push time is in that normal 2.5, maybe 1.5 minute mark. 1.5 to 2.5 minutes is usually where we see that. But it looks like the analyst's desk is so far correct, and to be honest, it's the same thing. I mean, Prokhorovka looks like it's going to be... it could be a win. I mean, SchoolBus could take it. I'm not sure about Kazna crew. But I don't know if it's likely. I mean, Steps could also be interesting. We saw Kazna win against C-Play on it. So they've obviously got some sort of head towards that map, but it's a tricky one. Shanish now making his way over towards the left side. As we do approach the 2.5 minute mark, you can see SchoolBus starts kicking into gear a little bit. And Shanish has to be careful because he's not in the optimal position. He's not exactly hull down. You can still hit the front of that T-32, which is pretty risky when you're playing against the 416. Near you does receive a shot.
Yeah, and I think Kazna have probably cottoned on to the idea. And I wonder if we can actually hear them on TeamSpeak. Let's see if this beautiful feature works. I'm not sure if it's available just yet. Lots of static noise. Unless they've changed language. Let's give it a try on the other side.
They've changed into analog signal language.
That's it. We knew there was something special about them, but we are seeing that move coming out actually from SchoolBus. I think they might go for the engagement soon. Yeah, they're creeping out into the further parts of the map. Apwell is going to be using these hills just to spot out across, make sure he's not giving away too much though. Veko does take down Dead Hunter though, so that's a 1-for-1 exchange in terms of the tier 1s. Not a big deal on Prokhorovka. And to be honest, it hasn't got anything to do with SchoolBus's end tactic. Veko receives a shell for his trouble though, and that MX-3090 could be risky because he is playing that tank and he is kind of up on the hill. Very easy target for Arklet, who did connect that first shell. Now finally, SchoolBus is going to go with it. 1 minute and 45 seconds, but does Armley cross this barrier? Let's see if he goes for this one. He's tempted. He's just backed away from cresting that hill. Crux and German Bray are sitting in that defilade. And Apwell and near you, not too far away, but Elian, Veko and Hyber also in this position. It'd be a very hard engage. They have the surround here, SchoolBus, 1 minute and 27. Every tank is present, excluding a tier 1 by the bottom of the cap. If they engage, they could get every single member if they get the timing and the focus fire right. Near you, peeks up, takes one, gets one. Not a bad exchange. Can they get this full engage though? Here we go, Apwell going in. Armley is joining him. Arklet baiting away, going to pull away a little bit there. Armley comes in towards Crux. German break fairly low, but Crux lower. Apwell doesn't land it, but Armley will, and Apwell still alive. Armley bails him out of trouble. He stays alive on 27 HP, and now the rest of the targets move in. Arklet on the run, getting out of the way. 54 HP, drawing the attention of Kazna into the sights of SchoolBus as Armley laying down the fire. Brilliant work in that 1390. Surely on reload now, leaving it to the likes of Shanish to deal the damage. 43 seconds left. Wow, brilliant play coming through. Near you and Arclit clearing up house, leaving Hyber and Pluto alive. 35 seconds. Can they find the tier 1? Can they take down Hyber? There's not a great deal of time left here.
They might be able to take down Hyber. Will they take down Pluto? That's the question. He's right down the south. Kazna have done it perfectly. They've got 1 tank up north, 1 tank up south. Hyber's still got 6 shells left in that autoloader. Can he take down Armley?
Armley will have to do something incredible here. He's played brilliantly so far, but he's encroaching in towards Hyber territory, and I don't think they're going to find Polluter. Surely not. 10 seconds left. Here we go. He's spawning out, gets the first shell, looks for the second. Track comes in. Hyber goes a little lower. 6-4, 4 seconds left. Surely not enough time here. And no, it's not going to be 0 seconds. It's a draw, and you can see the relief there. That meant a lot, and Polluter holding his nerve. Everyone hunkering down, but SchoolBus again, very close to fully engaging. They've done that twice now. Himmelsdorf, damn close to getting the win. And again here. This is looking like Kazna just riding the wave here, trying to get to Sand River, trying to get away from those first 2 maps, because they were the maps, I would say, with SchoolBus's. Now, it's Kazna's turn.
Yeah, I think Kazna actually has a chance to get in. Prokhorovka did exactly what we'd expect. SchoolBus went forwards. They saw those 2 hull down tanks. They engaged them. You know, Kazna tried to counter that by basically pushing in. They knew Arclit was on his own. But Arclit in that D416 is so quick. It just gets out of there immediately. Arclit knows what he's doing. He's cool. They didn't manage to do any damage to him. And then it was really Kazna trying to retreat and get out of there. I have to say, from the south, that kind of campy tactic hasn't worked too much. I've only seen a couple of wins on it. So I'm kind of surprised Kazna crew didn't try something unusual. Maybe push Arclit early on. Didn't allow the MX-3090 to come over from the side. I think, you know, a tier 1 over towards the hillside, we wouldn't have gone amiss. Then you can push Arclit kind of safe in the knowledge that not all the combat tanks are there for a SchoolBus. Next map's going to be Steps. Really not a map that SchoolBus has indulged themselves in
we don't
very much.
We didn't see it in the last matchup between these two.
No.
This must have been Kazna's pick, surely. They're not a bad team on it, but I still don't see it giving us a victory here.
I don't think so either. I mean, to be fair, SchoolBus haven't won a single time on this map. They've drawn once, they've lost twice. Which is not too good, but it's only 3 games played compared to, for instance, Himmelsdorf, where they played it like 11 times, 10 times even. So it's kind of a different kind of league in terms of, you know, how many games you've played. Could just be unlucky from them. But yeah, we haven't seen this before between these 2 teams, not at least in this season. Maybe on trainings or scrims or whatever, but we really have no clue what can happen here. Kazna against C-Play did well. They countered Ruster up there, but then Kazna knew what C-Play would do. They knew what Ruster would do, so they could come up with a good tactic to basically counter that. Whether that's what SchoolBus wants to do, we'll have to wait and see. Typically, SchoolBus on this map have gone very defensive. They used the T-32s, the IS-3s. They've just sat down and they've waited for the other team to come on.
Yeah, literally looking through the history here. As you said, Kazna one time spanked C-Play on it at the time. Prior to that, C-Play spanked them on it in 4 minutes. So it was a bit of a turnaround. As you said, they anti-strat them. And then we look at Steps with EPS. EPS won it with a cap. It's not a good map for either of these teams, though. That's the thing. As you said, it's just that I'm not sure why they would pick it if they were going for the victory. It literally feels like they said, right, let's draw this out. But I'm not sure if Kazna's style completely suits Sand River. Do you feel it's something that they could do well on here? Because so far it looks like... okay, let me put it down to you this way. In other games, there's always the counter-argument to the defensive team having the advantage because the aggressive team gets to walk first shot almost. They get to go for the trigger shot, you know what I mean? So they're warming up constantly with every single play they make because they're constantly trying to adapt and pressure and move. And I feel that SchoolBus have been doing that a little more. They've been making the moves a little bit more, especially on that last map. Himmelsdorf, kind of. Arclit made the move but didn't commit. So I'd say so far, SchoolBus, we've seen making more moves. They've been warming up a little more. They've been a little bit fresher to this. But Kazna have been the ones waiting and receiving. We saw that in their last match as well. They didn't make the plays yet. They've been making the reactive plays. I'm not sure if Sand River's all that complimentary towards just waiting on the reactive plays rather than making them. I'm a little bit in 2 minds. I know we're not coming onto it just yet. Steps could still be deciding. But Sand River, do you really feel it's a map that works for either of these teams?
Because it's not really played that much, I mean, you do have to draw 3 times in a row in a best of 5 to get it. Yeah. Or, you know, just not get a 3-all. That's basically what we need, 3 points each. you're not going to see it. So you can kind of make an unusual tactic because you're only going to use, that tactic once. And then you can make 3 tactics instead of 10 tactics you need for a map. So you can do something unusual every single time. You can train something that no one's seen before, which is going to be the big key factor between these two teams. I honestly think it's going to be how clever they are. SchoolBus very good at adapting, but they kind of rely on their player skill. And I think Kazna has the edge of just being a bit of a thinking man's team. No offense to SchoolBus, but they do rely almost always on their player skill as opposed to anything else. Kazna going very, very defensive, so this is going to be Sand River.
I question Kazna's choices. I really do. So there's a counter from SchoolBus in a way. The 1390s can counter this. I'm trying to think back of who we saw coming out with this setup before. It was in the last EPS in the south, and you said the only real counter would be using the 1390s in that format. In a way, it was the only slightly viable way of doing it. And I don't think SchoolBus are actually going for that at all. They're playing it kind of normally in kind of... Sand River. This is a silly way of playing out, I feel. I worry for Kazna because they have gone through this game, I feel, looking for that, basically drawing it out. They made some moves of engagement, but this says to me, all right, we'd be more comfortable on Sand River.
Yeah, I think so as well. Kazakh obviously kind of wanted to play Sand River. I guess SchoolBus, they knew they could do something on Prokhorovka and maybe could get the win there, but also maybe predicted Sand River would be the most likely choice. Looking at the kind of tanks they picked, I mean, 4 MX 1390s and a T-34-2, that's a lot of firepower in a small amount of tanks. You got the kind of burst from those MX 1390s, a T-34-2, very, very big gun, can do a lot of damage, good rate of fire, accuracy is pretty good as well. But, you got heat ammo in there, it can be unreliable. Unlike the T-69, you don't have the backup of the other 3 shells. It kind of can all go wrong with that T-34. It's like the WZ-132, it can either be the star of the show, or it can be disastrous and it can lose you the game, or just not do anything and not help you win the game when, for instance, the T-69 and AMX 1390 perhaps have a better chance. So, definitely... a gamble, like Cplay did against TCM Gaming on Cliff, but something that could work, something that couldn't work. It's really how, for instance, Arkley, who's picking up that tank, the team captain of SchoolBus, will end up doing this. So Armley, Ahwao, basically just sitting up towards the trench side. If Kazakh crew push forwards, they'll be able to do a lot of damage. It's a pretty standard tactic. We saw that in Season 2, I do believe. And it's been championed now and again by some of the teams, but every team kind of knows that it could happen. So it's nothing unusual. And as you would expect, Kazna crew with their 4 T-32s and a T-69, that they're basically going to set up back towards their base. Make sure the cap doesn't go, and make sure they don't get flanked.
7 minutes to keep that in mind. It's a lot on the line here between these two. And I'm still worried about Sand River. It's such a hard map to fully predict on, to fully find that comfort in, because I look back to it and I see constant surprises. I see what happened to Virtus Pro against Na'Vi, and it's hard to ever ignore that factor. These two teams are leaving it to such an important point, because let's be serious here, you don't want to go up against Virtus Pro tomorrow.
Definitely not.
in any way, shape, or form.
I would 100% want to, compared to every other season, want to be playing Evil Panda Squad tomorrow. Because Evil Panda Squad have kind of, I don't know how they did it. I don't know how they got into second compared to SchoolBus and Kazakh crew. They kind they allowed those two teams to fight each other, and then they just kind of sneaked in from behind and took it. They've got a very impressive win ratio, but it's been kind of strange where you think if someone focuses down new multi-show, they're going to be disastrous, they're going to fall down very quickly. So I want to be playing EPS for sure. Virtus Pro, unstoppable, only Drooling Leprechaun to manage to pick up a map that was on Ensk in the whole season. This is 11 match days in a best of 5. Pretty incredible stuff. Unheard of. I mean, even Na'Vi from the Russian region,
they dropped games.
They lost 2 games on the online season. Yes, they did win the offline finals, but I think they're pretty weak at the moment. They've already lost a game in this season. So honestly, I think Virtus Pro are the best team in the world right now.
They certainly have the track record to support that idea as well. So if a team like that can also falter, this is where my worry starts. You want to make sure you're in that best position tomorrow, and leaving it to a map like we're going to see being possibly the deciding factor of these two, I'm not too sure on. We'll have to wait and see. But as you said, I was going to bring it up at the start of the day, that EPS, a team that had been kind of in the shadows of these two throughout the entire online season, I think it's safe to say. just somehow snuck their way in there towards that second day, and it's so important and so vital. If you have the option, the possibility to get to the second day, you take it in every which way you can, because you immediately get away from this immediate relegation. Because who'd have thought TCM would be the team to first go out from all the selected teams here? So many hard questions for these guys, and at the moment 5 minutes left, but I think we all know the outcome of this. SchoolBus are looking and they're making sure they're not going to give it an easy walkover for Kazna, but still there's very few options for them here.
And they're doing it right at the moment. They're going to push from the right location from the north, because it opens up the cap. It stops Kazna crew being able to just push onto one location, not have to worry about the cap. You know, you want as much pressure situations as possible. So they're doing it right. But we saw against Evil Panda Squad that if you push into this T32 stack, that you're really, really, really at disadvantage. HP, so at advantage. You know, 450 HP per T32 disparity, and you got 4 of them. That's like 2 tier 8 tanks already in advantage for Kazna crew. Not quite 2 tier 8 tanks, I'm exaggerating, but 1.5 almost, over 1.5. So a big advantage nonetheless. And I think at the end of the day, SchoolBus will try it, as did Kazna crew and Himmelsdorf. They tried it, but they'll most likely fail, and in 2-minute mark, we'll probably see that move.
Oh, we'll have to wait and see. We will explain the rules of Sand River as well once we get towards it, if necessary. If it becomes an option, we'll have to wait and see how it goes down. So we will explain to you guys if you're not too aware of it. If you just watch the regular season online, we never use it as our final go-to, but we are using the grand finals rule set, which does mean if it is 3 draws, we take that as our final option to get a result from the teams. And currently so far predicted right by the analysis desk. Who'd have thought it? God. It's almost, you know, they're doing the job they're paid for. I like that. I like that a lot. And you had your moment with the derp gun.
Yeah.
And you were right. For once, Ollie was right.
Wow. I'm always right.
That's a lie.
Called it.
Your predictions during the online seasons were atrocious.
It's because I'm trying to be controversial, you know.
Oh, is that it? You're like the underdog.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Okay. All right. I get it. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense, because you were consistently wrong.
I supported like I supported England in the World Cup. I mean, that's how controversial I am.
That's true. In Germany.
Yeah.
It's a brave choice of all things. Let's be quite serious. But still, 2 minutes and 51 seconds left. My nonsense aside, there's going to be either something phenomenal from SchoolBus about to happen, which I don't see working, but, you know, I might be wrong. Who knows? I could join Ollie in the wrong camp.
Brilliant.
I know, it's a new place. Fantastic.
Kazna crew is so far in the right camp because they're doing quite well here.
Wow. Wow. Oh, God only knows how we coped with 7 draws before and didn't get fired with what we brought up. It's always the favourite food topic if we need to go there. It's okay. We can rely on that. Really? What?
We won't go there now because SchoolBus do look like pushing.
Oh, you don't worry about them. Where's Spag Bowl gone?
I haven't made in a while. I haven't cooked in ages.
All right. We'll get back to that. Currently, kebab, I guess, is your favourite food, but still. 2 minutes, it's the push time. And Donna Kebab, Ollie's best friend. Let's see if we're going to go to Sand River or if we're going to find out right now. So walk away with this. Wow gets caught there. They're taking a lot of damage early on, so if they want this engagement, they need to find it fast. And look at Near You. Takes a base full of damage, gone before the observer could even click on it. And that's the danger right now, SchoolBus. They cannot just walk into this. It's a complete crossfire set up by Kazna, waiting for those 1390s to make their play. Shanish got tracked and held. German break staring him down. Ilian moving in. He's going to have to be careful here. He could get caught out as well. And lucky little bounce comes through, but fire will eventually connect. Ilian looking like he wants to take this one for himself, and he's certainly on the right position to do so. There we go. Finishing move from Ilian comes in. And the sweeping move across from Kazna will be executed. But SchoolBus learned the lesson and back the hell out.
Yeah, that was a nil for nil exchange. Look how little damage Kazna crew have taken. German break 1 shot, Hyber 1 shot, Ilian 2 shots.
And they're still above the standard HP of the 1390.
Exactly. it's really ridiculous. Near You failed miserably and got himself destroyed immediately. Kind of thought he could make a couple of shells here and there, but that crossfire you're talking about from Kazna crew, swing their turrets around, took him out in 4 shots. That's the 300 average damage from the T32. So SchoolBus retreating. They know that Kazna crew can't actually catch up with them. That's the one disadvantage of the T32s. The only option for Kazna is the cap, but with 32 seconds left on the clock, that's pretty unlikely. even with 4 tanks, Army will probably be able to get reset. Although you just get Adventurous there, getting himself spotted.
Army needs to be careful. SchoolBus, you don't want to start throwing those last couple of seconds, but still, 18 seconds left. We are almost there at Sandriver. We can see it on the horizon. Applewell just challenging down Ely. He's going to claim that. That's just a little bit of a personal victory, I can imagine, for him. But still, damage is a deciding factor as well. We need to take that into account here. We will explain Sandriver at the end. 2 seconds left. It is going to be a draw, so 3 draws will equate to Sandriver. Not looking like a relief face on the SchoolBus camp. But still, let's break down what Sandriver means. So it's an attack and a defense map, basically.
It's an assault map. It's the official term for it in World of Tanks. As you said, attack and defense. Attack and defense sides decide about which team's done the most damage throughout the whole best of 5 series. So in this case, 3 maps. Whichever team does the more damage gets to pick which side they start on. In this case, it was probably Kazna based on that last map. But
I don't know,
actually,
the first 2 maps as well.
First 2 maps, yeah. Himmelsdorf didn't go too well, although it was kind of an exchange.
Prokhorovka definitely in favor to...
Prokhorovka in favor of
SchoolBus.
SchoolBus. True stuff.
Yeah, Himmelsdorf was close, and then the last map definitely was favorable.
I think it's going to be a pretty close call. Pretty close call. It depends, maybe even depends on which tanks the guys pick. But at the end of the day, you know, Steps was really no damage taken by Kazna crew. Could also be interesting. You can see our admin there already taking down the scores, the damage. He's going to be deciding that very shortly. But yeah, Sandriver attack and defense. You get to choose a side if you have the more damage. Most teams in the grand finals picked defense because, as everyone knows, if you're picking defense and the time's
in your side,
ticks down to 0, you win the map by default. Interestingly enough, though, on the grand finals of the grand finals, Virtus Pro versus Native Sincere, it was literally attack and defense, and Na'Vi won defending because Virtus Pro was like, hey, every other team, every time they've been defending, they've lost. But Na'Vi knew how to play it perfectly, and they won it. So it was all these kind of mind games coming into the equation, of course. So for me, it would just be about which tactic I have, which one I prefer, and going with that.
And I'd love to know the difference in damage so far, because let's bear in mind all those small kills that came into play. So, for example, Apoel hunting down Elian at the end, getting the kill onto him. All of these small numbers will add up. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And attack and defense is one thing that I can break down. And as you said, the questionable choices, if I'm not mistaken, it was Virtus Pro who chose to attack.
Yeah.
So they had the higher damage out of the 2. They chose to attack, which was... Obviously, if you've ever played any search and destroy style games or assault games, attacking is just generally harder. The defensive position is always favorable to an extent, just because you'll generally get the first shot and the clock will be in your favor, in a way. There's obviously counters to that if you're playing games where you've got flashbangs or something else that allows you that opener. But in games where it's just down to that pure aim or positioning, mostly defenders will have the advantage. And then, obviously, that clock just ticking away. Every second you stay alive and play smart will work in your favor. Sandriver is also a damn hard map to attack on. Let's be very honest on that. It's not a comfortable map. You are always in a tricky position. You can be surrounded very easily. We saw an interesting counter, though. I'm trying to think back to whom it was, when they went aggressive over the sand dune side almost. And they came flying over the top of it and caught them out completely unsurprised. I'm sure Dorjan, or one of the members on the analysis desk, will be able to remind us after this game. But it was a very defining moment there. So certainly varying options available. You can go for that fast, aggressive attack. If you want to be on the attacking side, you can play it slow and try and catch them out. Try and just test their discipline. But so far, we've seen these 2 teams are very disciplined. They don't look like they're losing that anytime soon. Who do you favor and on which side?
So SchoolBus attacking. That's what's known right now. And that's a choice for them. So I think it's going to be about if SchoolBus have a good tactic for this. I mean, at the end of the day, the other big question is, does Kazna crew want to kind of sit back, relax, kind of play defensively? But then they've also got in the back of their mind, okay, so if a team's picking to attack, they must have a good tactic to break the standard defensive tactics. And of course, you know, Sandriver isn't easy to play as an assault map altogether.
Apparently, it's going to be SchoolBus on attack. I'd love to find out if they chose that or if it was Kazna who had the high damage and got to choose defense. But I definitely want to find that out. If the admins could let us know, that'd be awesome. But regardless, that's how it's going down. So now SchoolBus has to find a route of attack here. I questioned the way Kazna have played so far, but if they'd been playing for chipping away at the damage and just trying to get the higher damaging rolls, then they've come off in a better position if that was their overall game plan. But it couldn't have been by much.
No, I don't think it was. I think it was really close. I think maybe 1,000, 2,000 damage.
Something, it must be something like that.
500 to 1,500, I think it was pretty close.
It's a dangerous thing to leave your game on, and, well, we'll see what they go for here. And it'd be even more interesting if, actually, SchoolBus chose to go attack rather than defense. I highly doubt it, but then again, I didn't think we'd see a draw, to be fair. I thought they'd be able to pick up the win on the first 2 maps. So, what do I know?
Our analysis desks so far are doing pretty well for themselves.
Oh, don't be nice to them.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know. I've got to be mean to them.
That's
but
it, that's
Carmen
how it
sometimes
works.
is right, which is quite interesting.
I know, it's weird, isn't it, right?
Yeah,
Normally
I
I
wouldn't
just...
expect it.
Hi, well done, Carmen. No, we do love Carmen here, but still, we are just going to be waiting and having a little quick team discussion. You can see him there still just talking things through. Because Sand River is a very unique beast unto itself. It's something that is very rarely played. Grand finals saw it not that many times, to be fair. I think we saw about 3 or 4 maybe. At tops, obviously, in the grand final, we did see it featured as the deciding map, which crowned the champion so far, which is Na'Vi. Still in first position overall out of the grand finals. Let's see if that changes, if there is another time. But still, for now, once again, a big game decide on that. And basically, the team that comes through this game in a better position will go forward in a fantastically better spot than the other way, if they obviously went through the lowers, by being able to face EPS rather than Virtus Pro, because that's the team you have to avoid at this point. So still. Wow, okay, SchoolBus chose to attack. That's changed things. That has... I'm baffled now. So they've gone, okay, we saw how Virtus Pro lost. So we're gonna just show them how it's done. They chose to attack.
They've obviously got a good tactic
must
for
do.
it. They have to do 2 things. First of all, they have to have a good tactic for the standard camp. The sit in the base, kind of wait for the timer to go down to 0 camp. And then they got to have a couple of contingency tactics if a team, for instance, Kazna crew goes aggressive. And then they have to have a tactic to basically counter any kind of cap attack. Because SchoolBus, what they have is a little bit better of a position if they want to go for the cap. You can sit behind the buildings. We saw, for instance, Worcester fail to decap that in the grand finals, and that could happen again. Easily. So Kazna must have trained those 3 to be successful here. If they have, which to be honest are the bare basics on this map, I think they can do it. And of course, Kazna probably has a couple of interesting tactics themselves, and maybe expected SchoolBus to actually choose the defending side. So it really
change
is
the dynamic,
poker.
yeah.
It's crazy.
So guys at home, get on Twitter right now and tweet at @TheyCallMePansy and at LaughterWT using the hashtag WGLEU, and let us know your thoughts on SchoolBus picking the attacking side on Sand River. It's something that was the downfall of one of the arguably better teams at the grand finals. Will it be the same here? Let us know. Get on Twitter right now using that hashtag WGLEU and tell us your thoughts. Kazna crew up against SchoolBus. This is going to be a phenomenal witnessing. And wow, okay, so let's explain this. The attacking side will be SchoolBus in red. Defending side, Kazna crew. And the attackers have the option of a cap, if I'm not mistaken. And obviously, you can kill each other flat out. So it's very similar in aspect. But still, what are we seeing so far from SchoolBus here?
We're seeing SchoolBus just go straight across, trying to get some spots out onto Kazna crew. They have the higher ground as well, which is definitely a thing you want. I mean, it's a tactical game, so everyone knows that higher ground's a good tactic. We've all seen Star Wars before.
Well,
apart from Unity?
Yep.
Oh.
I know, blasphemy.
I'm gonna have to tell Lee that because that's disgraceful.
He knows. He is disgusted at me. Don't worry.
Okay, we'll leave that aside for now.
My downfalls aside.
Shanish, Apwile, Armley with the AMX 1390s, kind of going to the eastern side. A bit of aggressive play from SchoolBus immediately. They clearly have a vision. They clearly know what they want to do, and they're just executing it step by step. First one, get off the hill, go to the east, spot. There's nothing here. Engage.
That damage.
Gets a nice bit of damage. 616 left.
That is massive. 616 is not a lot of HP to work with in a position where you want to be constantly peeking back and forth, where you want to be making sure you get those spots. That's gone pretty poorly for him. And as you said, a clear plan coming into place for SchoolBus. Now, that's a good start. That's a very good start. But it's nowhere near the ending point. And you can see the defensive line for Kazna right across the southwest of the map. They are also on a a rotate of kinds, but you can see the terrain and how it interacts in this game right now, because it's a very unique map in the way it plays out, in the way it's formed. So keep your eyes on the way they play this, how they utilize the higher ground, and how they form the cover towards each other. Easy, Elian. But still, 8 minutes on the board. A lot of room to work with. Where are Kazna taking themselves?
They saw that a lot of tanks from SchoolBus over towards the east, so they decided to go west. It's pretty standard. A lot of damage heading towards near you. Second time he's peaked. Second time he gets punished, but as does Veko going low. 3, 4, 5 left on him. A little bit of engage.
Yeah, near you could be in trouble. He's trying to back out of this. Oh, wow, the bounces are certainly in his favor. Gets out of there. Not unscathed, but you look at the exchange so far. Near you, 597. Veko, 353. And Elian, 616. Gun in the game strategy still means that Kazna are fine as long as they keep those two alive, but they cannot play in the aggressive spots to peak anymore. So the more damage the SchoolBus do to the defending side, the harder it's going to be to maybe lock down that cap if they do eventually go for it. So still, 7 minutes is a lot of time so far. SchoolBus, if they're careful on their peaks, they'll be doing fine.
You've got to be really careful. Near you got caught a little there. But 2 tanks, as you said, for Kazna gone down pretty low. Veko's got to be defensive. He can't ever attack. But that's the awkward situation for him. He's kind of slap bang in the middle of the whole map. And either way you looked at it, you can either go into the Lion's Den by going in towards the village where the houses are, or you can go up towards the cap where the cap usually is on Sand River. And that's basically an uphill. Even with an AMX 1390, especially with near you there, it's pretty much suicide. Despite the fact that Crux is there. It's really the journey, not the destination, that's a problem for Veko right now. But he's a good player. He can stay alive. He can stay pretty cool in that situation. And really, it's going to be like that for the whole map. It's going to be constant rotation from the SchoolBus, going to be adapting. Kazna's going to be adapting. But you can already see on the minimap, SchoolBus got a lot of tanks in one position. They want to push through, whereas Kazna crew a little bit scattered around the map.
I like the play
and one
from
tier one kind
Applewell,
of, yeah, those guys are always playing together. They're like Applewell and Shanish. It has to be said, Shanish has actually done more damage this online season than Applewell. Maybe because of the tanks he plays, the T69 opposed to the MX 1390. But honestly, like the first 2 seasons of the WGL EU, I actually thought Shanish was a better player than Applewell. So, I mean,
why are you hating on Applewell?
Because Shanish, right? In season 1 of the WGL EU, Shanish won it for them. He won it against Virtus Pro. This guy was insane in that map. He was just a sick player. So I think that's probably why I chose him. And the cap is now the equation for SchoolBus.
Well, let's look at it this way as well. They have completely out-rotated Kazna. They've come around the back of them. The only problem now for SchoolBus is it takes time to do this. There's 5 minutes left, so about halfway into this map now. Applewell and Shanish, your man himself, have done brilliant work in those 3090s to get around the back and get themselves towards the cap. Maybe forcing the rotate of Kazna was the initial plan, and it's arguable. It's all in theory. But Elian still seems to be keeping eyes on this. He's aware to an extent that there may be pressure from this side, and Applewell might go for a shot, no. Keeping options in mind, Crux has found Dark God Zim, so another tier 1 god. That is big on this map. When a cap is such an important factor, you need those tier 1s up. It looks like Shanish and Applewell are going hunting.
And what's nice is Veko's creeped his way up and towards the hill. Crux is not under the crossfire position, so Veko's got to be a little bit careful. German Break comes up from the side, and Elian could be the target now for SchoolBus.
Yeah, but he needs to be careful. He is being flanked on the north side of him. He needs to be careful here. Applewell and Shanish moving in towards Elian. Crux is there as well. This is going to come down to some cautious engagements. Crux takes another shell. Near you exchanges. He is the one who's going to be under severe pressure, unable to support his team. He might be the first really to fall out of the battle tanks. So look at this. The cap has begun. Applewell did find Crux, though. Great work coming in from across the map. And there comes the cap. This is what you need to keep your eyes on. That time limit as well. Because so far, Kazna are not on the best side to challenge here, but Elian evens the score in battle tanks. But look at this. The hunt continues. Shanish is looking for the kills here. Armley desperately trying to keep back Veko and Hyber. And you can see them moving in slowly. Armley trying to make a stand. If he can land one more shot, that'd be brilliant. He's going to focus on German Break, waits it out, goes back in for another. Oh, beautiful work from Armley. Finally goes down to Veko, but halting them, slowing them down, do what they can. And now 23 seconds on the cap. This is what it's going to come down to.
Hyber's got full HP. He's going to have to try and stop this one. Koblion went down, so that contingency's down. He does manage to hit it. 35 seconds left on the cap. Applewell versus Elian.
This is the battle we wanted. Elian a little low already, though. Applewell should take him out fairly comfortably. As Elian trying to utilize the cover as best he can, using with the efflates and deflates of those hills. But Veko finding Dead Hunter is going to put some urgency on this frag, and he's got to move in for it. There we go. Apoel takes down Elian. 44 seconds on the cap. Shanish under pressure from German Break. The firing squad of Kazna crew might have just found the chink in the armor, and Shanish takes another. He's going low. He's going in for the kill. He's trying to find a little bit of cover away from Hyber and Veko to just only challenge one, but it's not enough. He goes down as Arclit and Apoel are the last two alive. Can they turn this around? Veko is low. Hyber fairly healthy, and German Break about half HP. Is there a chance here?
Arclit can still do this. He's just come off reload. He's got 1,800 damage potential. That's a lot more than Kazna Crew's HP right now, but he has to be able to exchange that onto the tanks of Kazna, who are at the moment fleeing away. Apoel's coming down on the flank. Veko down to 86 HP. He could go down to a ram. German Break Hyber, about 3 or 4 shots left for Apoel. 2 or 3 shots for
3v2 situation.
3 versus 2. But Kazna, they're on the run.
Here we go. Apoel flanking around the left side. Arclit waiting to receive. They're pushing them in towards Arclit, but he's not looking in the right direction. He needs to turn that turret pretty damn fast. He spots out Veko. Nice shot from Arclit. Takes him down. And now 1v2. He's been pressured from Hyber and German Break. But where is Apoel? He needs to get in this. You can't just stay alive and hope for it. He's got to get involved. He gets one towards Hyber. Arclit all alone here, still doing damage. Good work towards Hyber again. Another shell connects. Can he get the final one? Focusing on German Break this time. Takes damage down. Oh, this is brilliant from Arclit. He might be able to take him down. Look at that play. Hyber goes down. But where is Apoel in this mix? He's leaving it all to Arclit, and it's not paid off here. Arclit needs to land one more shell for German Break, but German Break stands. But Apoel is there, and he secures the victory for SchoolBus on Sand River of all maps. And you can see how much that meant to him. Apoel, phenomenal play. And I questioned the Sand River choice, but they just proved me wrong.
I questioned Apoel, and I was horribly denied because he did a fantastic job. A little bit late, but when he arrived with style, finishing off German Brat there, and Kazna Crew devastated in both emotion and in game. They played well, 3 versus 2, but Arclit, the man you never doubt, comes through and takes his team for a win. And I have to say, you know, his cool head really did drive them forwards. And at the end of the day, Kazna, their defensive tactic worked well, but they got outplayed from the beginning.
Individual players sometimes can make that difference. We saw it working in favor for the likes of Elian, the man on your screen there not too long ago for Mouse Sports back at the grand finals. So every single player having a taste of it in some way when those one player can do great things. But the Apoel man just walking behind with the big Apoel sign on his back did it just then for SchoolBus. So brilliant performance, standout performance for him. But then again, everyone else did their job on that map. The push of the rotate, pushing them around, making that, it was a clockwise rotate around the map, putting the 2 1390s behind them, chasing them down, constantly not allowing Elian into that game. They hunting him down from the very start. He was never allowed a second to breathe in that map.
He wasn't allowed anywhere. He got 600 HP down immediately. If he didn't take that first shot, he would have been able to go 1 versus 1 against Apoel, but he also missed 3 shells against Apoel, which could have been a big thing. I think also the fact that SchoolBus picked the AMX 5100 was actually a bit of a counter pick, because that's a tank basically which could just sit in the middle, and on the sand it's not that slow, and it can do a lot of damage. So Arclit picking that tank worked out perfectly. The positioning from Kazna Crew was a little bit long, but I'm sure, you know, analysis desk is going to be a lot better job in analyzing that one. But you know, Kazna going to be going down to the lower bracket first of all, playing C play, and of course if they win that one, they're going to be playing Virtus Pro. So I guess for these guys it's really like do or die in the winners bracket.
Massively so, and just knowing that game may have just put you into the same route as Virtus Pro is terrifying for Kazna, a team that turned it around from the start of the season, may now have the hardest game on their hands in just, what, 2 games' time. But still, they have to face C-Play first, and that'll be the next matchup coming up very soon. But yeah, what a fantastic game we just witnessed. And I asked you guys to get involved on Twitter, and they were like, yeah, that's a downfall now of SchoolBus. They've lost it, no chances there. Well, they just proved you wrong. So guys, let's get onto that stage with Mitch and the incredible SchoolBus who just picked up that game.
Yes, thank you for that, guys. What a fantastic group of games. I'm here with Arclit, of course, from SchoolBus. The emotion was electrifying. As soon as you guys, got that final kill towards German Break, you guys just got up, you were yelling. So very emotional today, of course, and you played those first 3 draws through, and they were pretty frustrating, it's safe to say. I could see, even Shanish was, sort of gesticulating a little bit and a little bit upset. How do you sort of deal with that, I guess, when you have to play on Sand River and you've had those draws behind you and you've got to attack as well? What was the game plan for you guys?
Well, actually, we had to get this one on Prokhorovka. We didn't have enough time, like 30 seconds, to find the T1. So we were kind of confident, and we had a lot of damage advantage. So we knew that we will choose the Sand River in case we don't get it on steps. After we saw the setup of Kazna on steps, we knew that it's going to be a draw, and we played it safe. So we knew what we were doing, and when it came to Sand River, it's just how you react to situation. It's constantly changing, and we did it pretty well. We did have our ups and downs in strategy on that map, but finally we had an advantage there.
Now, I saw as you guys sort of walked off that Applewell's keyboard is not in the best shape. What happened there?
When he jumped up, he just smashed it with both hands to get even higher.
So, I mean, this is only the first day. I mean, you guys have got games to come, and that one surely going to carry you through. Now, you've made it into tomorrow. You've made it into the playoffs. I mean, what are your thoughts about them? You've come this far already. You guys have been so strong all season, of course. You know, looking at Virtus.pro and Evil Panda Squad, is there a game? Are you guys ready for that? Are you guys even thinking about that right now? What is the feeling right now with you guys?
Well, of course, we prepared for both of those teams, but first things first, and yesterday we were preparing for this day, thinking about strategies, how we're going to play it, how we're going to do everything. And today, I think we will manage the Virtus.pro and EPS question. So, actually, Kazna crew was one of the pretenders to get Virtus.pro down, so we are really hyped that we overcome this team.
What do you think it takes to bring a team like Virtus.pro down?
I think it takes a lot of skill and a lot of luck.
Well, absolutely. You heard it here first. That's not the first time you mentioned luck, Arkley, but I don't know about luck. You guys carried yourself through very, very well, so congratulations to you guys. Over to our analysts. There's a lot to go through. 3 draws and a Sand River finale. What an explosive matchup. Dorjan, what have you got for us?
Wow, thanks, Mitch. But I don't know what to say. It was unexpected, to say the least, that what just happened. Now, we did say, and I'll stress that Carmen said, that it would be SchoolBus for Himmelsdorf. And it was a winning draw. Like, they had the advantage. They didn't quite seal the deal. And then on Prokhorovka,
I was completely wrong.
You said it was Kazna's game, but no, it was SchoolBus again. To camp. And in steps, it was a no-go. The lineup that was chosen, we'll go through it all in a minute, but it was an absolute no-go. And then we get a Sand River, and there were so many moments in that game. But first, we have to say that there is a new person in red to my right here, Kazna from CPlay. You might have seen him on the field, and now he's actually joining us. Hello, sir. How are you?
Well, I'm quite fine after a few good games. Happy to be here.
Yeah, are you calm? Are you calm or excited? Are you pumped for your next game?
I'm calm after our good win versus TCM, but I'm also excited because it's Kazna again. Like, we lost against Kazna, and now we have to fight them again, and we need to do better.
Yes, well, clearly, you've just seen them, though. You've seen them struggling, and they're coming off a loss. You're coming off a win. You must feel at least a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, I can't imagine how Kazna feels after those close Sand River game. I mean, I think they're going to be pretty annoyed with what happened, and I think that might be a good point for us because like you see, we come from a win, and they come from a loss.
Yeah, well, actually, we can tell you about this voting scene. We actually have had everyone voting, and it was 90% Kazna. And not just that, but I'm going to have a look at these cards that our experts gave. And Schnitzel gave a 3-2 to Kazna. I gave a 3-2 to Kazna. Wilkie gave a 4-3 to Kazna. Carmen gave a 4-3 to Kazna. And Kazna, you put a 3-1 to Kazna.
So
yeah,
we must burn it. Nobody see it.
We're going to bear with this because we are also with the audience. We were not the only ones who thought that this was going to happen. So let's put it through this way. First of all, Wilkie, what happened in the first game in Himmelsdorf? What went wrong?
In Himmelsdorf, the push started from SchoolBus a bit too late. That's the main point. Russian teams like to push in 2-minute mark, but sometimes you should do it to 3-minute mark, so you have enough time to clean up the map, and that's why the map went to a draw. Of course, they got the advantage from the damage, but yeah, they just pushed too late.
They're just a little bit too late. But Carmen, you said that it was a bit more core to this, that there is actually more to it than this. they were always going to win this map. Why?
I'm just, I was sure that SchoolBus will be aggressive on this map, and because of the loss of HP of Applebow at the hill, they have to be defensive. And to be honest, Kazna was attacking. Also, guys from SchoolBus wanted to do a push, but in the moment they started to push, there was Kazna just outside the guns, and shooting started, and nobody knew, to be honest, why they are there. They were surprised. And better in this case went guys from SchoolBus. They have the advantage, but they didn't kill T1. The only mistake from them. So I just, this game was really, really close and really, really fun for me to watch.
Okay, Dekilzo, you were managing to watch from this desk for a change. How did you think Himmelsdorf went, the first game?
Well, Himmelsdorf was like, you had the initial engagement at the hill, which SchoolBus lost out on. And then they were like trying to refine their positions of engagement. But because SchoolBus took so long, we didn't really see a real engagement. But it was mostly just to like get damage, so who could decide. But there was not a real engagement. It was just small fights.
So let's move on then to Prokhorovka, yet another draw, but this time it was surprising because we thought Kazna would actually have the edge, and we actually have a highlight around the 1 minute left in the game where Kazna and it was in full flight. But take it through your thoughts first on the whole match of Prokhorovka.
Well, it started off quite defensive, but the later it got into the match, you saw SchoolBus was going around Kazna. They were like making a nice pincer movement. Kazna was locked down in one area of the map, so there was not much you could do. And at like 2 minutes, you could see SchoolBus was ready for the engagement. And a big part for SchoolBus was the fact that Kazna went for Arclit, but Arclit got away before 3 guys went for him. They couldn't kill Arclit. In the meantime, Crooks and the other German Braid, they died. And they did no reply damage instead.
Exactly. That was the key moment. I think we all agreed on that key moment was when Arclit was getting chased. I think Khan was one who shouted, they're all going for Arclit. Arclit's dead. But Arclit went 100% HP over the hill and got away. 3 versus 1.
I don't, completely at the beginning of this, I said, object 46, 416, won the map. Okay, what are you doing? And then I see, oh, Ilin is also on it. Okay, we'll see something different. And then this object 416 from Arclit, without any damage on him, with 390s on his ass, and another object. How the hell he do this? And because of it, the 332 and the T69 was dead, like you said. But also one of the really important things was that the guys missed the T1 of Pilauda and also have to kill Haiba, because Haiba, go up. So yeah. It was really hard to finish the game. Guys from Kazna were a bit lucky. 10 more seconds and we'll be, dead.
It was. We also noted that the T1 was just out of position. The one for SchoolBus was in the northeast, the very far corner. There was absolutely no way he could have been caught, but the Kazna's T1 was not so far. So if a draw was not going to happen, it would definitely be for SchoolBus. But that moment there, we cannot stress enough, that was where it all went wrong, as the Arclit was running away and ran away perfectly while the rest of the team got engaged, and everyone survived for SchoolBus, and Kazna were destroyed. And basically that was the end of that. So we'll go quickly to Steps. Opinion on the lineup on Steps. It was 4 Pershings and a T69. Thoughts?
I mean, SchoolBus, their lineup was like light, and then you see this kind of lineup and you're already a tank down in HP. They would have need to play it perfect, do lots of damage without receiving any chance, to have like a small chance to actually win the engagement. Kazna was just going pure for the draw. They didn't want to win. Like if they had the opportunity to kill everybody, they would do it, but they were no intention to move away from their position. They just wanted to draw.
So I think there's no argument there, really. This is exactly how Arclit said it, and that's exactly how we feel about it. So let's go on to the final map, which is Sand River, and how that one played out. Really, this map was all over the place. There were several moments that kind of defined it, but let's start with Carmen. What do you think went wrong for Kazna?
For me, the first moment, which was most important, for the whole match and also for Kazna, was that SchoolBus was choosing the sides. And they were sure that they want to attack. Kazna have to defend, and they feel, on their place, I will just be nervous why SchoolBus wants to attack. We already saw that if you're attacking with 5100, like now, it's the style of Navi, to hard cap. And they, with this WZ132, they go back to the base. And it's like, no, a lot of a lot of things happened there. We see the replay and how the shells, how the move of all the tanks. These dings on the SchoolBus player was, you know, just this also in the game.
You see how many shots avoided, or should I say avoided? He didn't really do anything to avoid it, but how many missed shots, and this opportunity was gone. If he had died at that point there, it would have been a whole different game.
It would be also easier, really easier for guys from Kazna. They didn't have to attack to him like they did. So they ran, you know, by the almost hold them up to get the two guys of SchoolBus. In the same time, this was a cap. Also, this missing of the T1 is one of the biggest mistakes, but it's from Wilkie. Okay. Yeah, Wilkie, look at this bit more beautiful than me because he was on this T1. This one of the T1s from the SchoolBus. When is that, you said that no chance.
Yeah, you need T1s to cap. Like SchoolBus had the 5100, so the idea is to put the 5100 to the cap ring and the T1s behind it and start capping, and then have a crossfire to defend the cap ring and the 5100, and actually not the 5100, but the T1s behind the 5100. But because they lost the T1 so early, they couldn't do it. They tried it with the one T1 and one 5100,
but it didn't work
out. You can do it then. Okay, plan B, and they started just
fighting.
Yeah, fighting.
And that's where everything goes and changes. So we'll come over to you, Kazna, as the cap had failed. Kazna seemed a little bit ahead. Then what happened then?
Kazna made a good move by going to the middle and going around to the player like near you and Armley, and they catched him and they killed him. And then we were like, Kazna has the edge now. They're the defender. If they just go run north, they can draw it out. Time, nothing happened. But they turned around. They went back, and Veko got caught on the cross. He got spotted by Arclet, and Arclet took him out. And after that, you had the 90 in the north and Arclet in the south. And they bounced on Arclet, and he survived. And that's what's changed. It's the one bounce on Arclet. Otherwise, they would have been able to run away.
Yeah, so now let's go into the last moment we have here that's really, to me, defines the whole match. Was right at the end there, you notice one guy, the MVP, powered by Razor, Applewell at max HP. Why? He went head-to-head, toe-to-toe with Elian, the other MVP, powered by Razor, Guy, and yet he came away with max HP. And I know we have that moment here, and we can show it, but it was just one of these things that I didn't expect to happen. And if he had lost a lot more HP, maybe been a bit more cautious, or the HP would have been dealt elsewhere, I don't know what would have happened, but it was 100% victory there for Applewell.
Just, you know, I don't know how Ilian missed the shells, really. I don't have an idea. Normally he will, you know, 5 of 6 of them will be with damage, and probably even with the track and damage. At the beginning, Ilian was down of the HP because guys from SchoolBus, this double shot at the beginning of the game, we were like, okay, nice. Because this thing cost them like 2 minutes of the defending time. Because it won't be that easy for guys from SchoolBus to get there. Taking out Ilian from this position was like 2 minutes extra time for them. Then, Ilian, you know, this fight, after these 2 shots, we have this moment when he almost lost the track of his mistake, of the jump. It also cost them a lot. He was, you know, it showed, I'm not sure, but maybe he was already nervous because of this. Because when you have only this one map and you're defending and you're starting to lose, you are collapsing, really. And maybe that was the reason why he missed the shots. I cannot be sure for that, but maybe.
Okay, well, you guys out there know how to get involved with the MVP Powered by Razor competition. Go to Facebook and pick your favorite. If it was Elian from the last match or Applewell, make sure to register your vote to be in for the chance to win. So the last thing we're going to do here before we pass over to social media is to thank Kazna here and ask him one last time, your match against Kazna next, how do you feel?
I feel confident because, like, we have already played 2 matches now. We come of a win, and we saw how it was a long match for Kazna, like a struggle and then a close loss. So it will have an impact on their morale. So we can have the edge, and I think the game will be completely different than the first one.
Well, thank you very much for being here. It's a pleasure to have you on the desk, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. And definitely we'll be watching your match very shortly. Right, for everyone out there, we're going to be passing over to the social media corner with your lovely hostess, Melly.